Hello and welcome to this video. In this video I will talk about the major arcana. So I have ordered the tarot cards on the table and I have put the major arcana here and the minor arcanas here. The major arcana is made up of 22 cards, these cards here, and we shall talk about each of these cards and their meaning. So let's put the minor arcana away, because we are not going to talk about this arcana in this video, and let's put them here and let's concentrate on the major arcana. So these 22 cards form the major arcana. The major arcana is considered to be the core and the foundation of the entire deck. The cards in the major arcana have an archetypal significance and they follow a storyline that describes the spiritual travel of any human being from birth to death. The first card is this card called the Fool, and it represents the innocence and the wonder that a person has at the beginning of his life. Whereas the last card, the World, describes the fulfillment and the oneness that a person attains at the end of his or her life. So in other words, the major arcana describes the passage of a person from birth to death through every stage of his existence. So it describes the story of the spiritual evolution and enlightenment and the formation of the individual. So we begin with the Fool and follow the journey of the Fool, who seeks knowledge throughout his life, whereas at the end, the World signifies that this knowledge regarding the world around, the things around, the phenomena around, is attained. So this knowledge is supposed to be attained by the Fool who begins his journey through life. So the World represents the knowledge of the world, the understanding of the world. And now let's see the description of those stages in life. Each of these concepts are concepts that we can meditate about, and they help us understand the things around and the phenomena around, and understand our own life and our own evolution. And now let's talk about each card in the major arcana. So this is the Fool. The card, as you can see, does not have any number here. The other cards are numbered in this rectangle on the upper part of the card. The card of the Fool has no number, so sometimes people put this card not as the card 0 before the card 1, sometimes they put it at the end of the deck. But the normal way of putting the cards is with the Fool at the beginning, as the card number 0. As you can see, the cards have this rectangle on the lower part where the name of the card is written. So, le mât means the Fool in French. Because this is the Marseille Tarot, the cards are inscribed in French. And now let's talk about this first card. The card signifies innocence, a free spirit, and new beginnings if it is upright. If it is reversed, it means recklessness, inconsideration, or it means that somebody is taken advantage of. So this is the first card. What I forgot to tell you about is that we have another card that is different from the other cards. The card of the Death. As you can see, it has no inscription on the lower part here, because usually when this card appears, people have a certain feeling of anxiety. So, in order to reduce the anxiety that a person feels whenever this card appears, there is no inscription below the picture of the Death. Nevertheless, it has the number here. And now let's go back to our cards. This is card number 1. Card number 1 is Le Battleur, the Magician. This card signifies, if upright, willpower, desire, manifestation, or creation. If the card is reversed, it means that something is out of touch, that there are illusions or trickery. Now let's continue with the second card, La Papesse. This is the High Priestess. And if this card appears, it makes reference to the unconscious, to the inner voice, to the intuition. If reversed, it means repressed feelings, a lack of center, or a lost inner voice. Card number 3. L'Impératrice, the Empress. The upright card signifies fertility, nature, or motherhood. If it is reversed, it means emptiness, dependence, or nosiness. Card number 4, L'Empereur, the Emperor. It means authority, control, fatherhood, or structure. And the meaning of the reversed card means coldness, rigidity, or tyranny. Let's continue with card number 5, le pape, the Hierophant. The upright card stands for ethics, morality, conformity, and tradition. The reversed card stands for rebellion, subversiveness, or new approaches to some problems. Card number 6 is called l'amoureux. It's the lovers card, and it means union, duality, or partnership if upright. If the card is reversed, it means lack of harmony, loss of balance, or one-sidedness. Card number 7, le chariot, the chariot, means willpower, control, or direction. If the card is reversed, it means lack of direction or lack of control or aggression. Card number 8. The Justice. It means truth, clarity, and the relation between cause and effect. If the card is reversed, it means unfairness, dishonesty, or unaccountability. Card number 9. L'ermite, the hermit. This card means inner guidance, search for the truth, or contemplation. If the card is reversed, it means it stands for the loss of your way, for isolation or loneliness. And now we have reached half of this deck, and now we will start with the second half. Card number 10, called La Roue de Fortune, which means the Wheel of Fortune, stands for the inevitable fate, for the life cycles, and for change. If the card is reversed, it means lack of control or bad luck. Card 11, La Force, the Strength. It stands for inner strength, bravery, focus, and compassion. If the card is reversed, it stands for insecurity, self-doubt, or weakness. Let's continue with card number 12, Le Pendu, which means the Hanged Man. If the card is upright, it stands for martyrdom, sacrifice, or release. If reversed, the card means fear of sacrifice or needless sacrifice. Now card number 13, the one that I was telling you about, that it has no name written on it, because the idea of death generally gives anxiety to any person who sees this card. This card is the card called Death, La Mort, and if the card is upright, it means metamorphosis, end of a cycle, new beginnings, or change. If the card is reversed, it stands for stagnation, decay, holding on something, or fear of change. So generally, if you see this card, you do not have to necessarily think about death or bad things related to death. You should think rather about a change, about new beginnings, the end of a cycle and the beginning of a new cycle. Card number 14, Temperance, the Temperance, stands for patience, for finding meaning, and for finding the middle path. If this card is reversed, it represents a lack of balance, extremes, or excess. The next card is also a card that sometimes gives anxiety to people when they see it. It is called Le Diable. It is card 15. So, the devil. And now let's see what this card stands for. If the card is upright, it means addiction, playfulness, or materialism. If the card is reversed, it stands for restoring control, for release, or freedom. Let's continue with card 16, La Maison Dieu, the Tower. If the card is upright, it means disaster, broken pride, or sudden upheaval. If the card is reversed, it stands for avoided disaster or delayed disaster, or a fear of suffering. Now let's continue with card 17, L'Étoile, the Star. This card stands for rejuvenation, for hope and faith. And if the card is reversed, it stands for insecurity, discouragement, or faithlessness. Card 18, La Lune, the Moon. If it is upright, it stands for intuition, illusions, and the unconscious. If the card is reversed, it stands for confusion, fear, or misinterpretation. Card 19, Le Soleil, the Sun. If the card is upright, it stands for positive things, for joy, for success, or for celebration. If the card is reversed, it stands for sadness, for depression, for something negative. Card 20, le jugement, the judgment. If the card is upright, it means awakening, reckoning, or reflection. If the card is reversed, it stands for doubt or lack of self-awareness. And the last card, card 21. So I told you that there are 22 cards because we also take into consideration the first card, which is numbered as card 0. So it has no number actually. So this is the last card, card 21. And this is called Le Monde, the world. And if the card is upright, it stands for harmony, completion, and fulfillment. So as I told you, this represents the end of a person's life when the person understands the real meaning of the world and has knowledge. Whereas if the card is reversed, it stands for incompletion or no closure. So these were the meanings of the major arcana. In my next video, I will also talk about the minor arcana.